with my students, with my friends, how do we start to bridge that gap where we are starting to start this line of communication while allowing people to have their beliefs but not going too far to be insulting? How do we find that line and keep pushing it so that we get this dialogue? Because that's something that we obviously need as a society today.
Probably the most important way you teach open-mindedness, love of truth, willingness to engage, attitude of civility is by exemplifying this, by practicing those. If we practice what we preach, a lot will emulate the example that they see from their teachers, pastors, parents, elders, but especially from teachers. Here again is one of the things where Cornell is so exemplary. Cornell knows more about the conservative tradition of political thought than just about any conservative I know. That's the attitude. I mean, I try to practice this myself. As you can imagine, if you know anything about my views, I'm not too fond of Nietzsche's views. I read them all the time. I'm like drawn to it because he's powerful and he's unsettling me and he's worrying me. And I find I can't just lay it aside and not think about it. I keep going back because what if he's right? Now, I'm not persuaded, but he makes a powerful argument. If that's our own attitude, that'll rub off on the young folks.
I'm going to admit that I'm a little skeptical about the value of having a distant and dispassionate stance. I don't even know if it's actually possible to get there, and that's something that you, Professor George, argue that it's a good thing to get there. So since you think that that's a valuable place to be, how do you know when you have reached that point of a healthy distance versus the illusion of having a distance?
Beautiful question. Beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And guess what the answer is, at least as far as I can tell?
Yes.
You never know for sure.
Ah.
You just don't. You honestly can't know for sure, which means it's a constant process of self-criticism, of introspection, of examining oneself and one's own attitude. The worst kind of hypocrisy is not the kind that tricks other people or attempts to trick other people. It's the kind where you try to trick yourself. You pretend to yourself that you're something that you're not, or you've achieved a state that